Hey, what's going on, man? Welcome to another RuneScape news coverage video. For this video, we're going to be talking about some changes to Next Angel of Death. This is Mod Ramen's GameJam updates from last week. But we're going to take a look at it and see exactly what he aims to change. So without any further ado, this is the video. Let's go!
Cats is the illest. What you talking about, Willis?
Quickly, just a bit of background. Mod Ramen actually made AOD back when he was in QA and has since become a full-time developer. With that being said, he has wanted to go back to Next Angel of Death with his newfound knowledge and give it much more polish to make it the fight he envisioned way back then. So with this game jam, he took the time to actually address some of the issues that he felt needed to be addressed and ones that the community wanted. Bear in mind, with game jam updates, these are subject to change, these are still being worked on and may not pan out as displayed here when they finally launch. Being that it is a game jam update, I don't think it shares the caveat that game jam updates generally aren't promised content, since this is something that is fixing old content and is not new content in and of itself like other game jam updates. I think this is pretty safe to say that this will make it into the game. With all that being said, let's talk about what's being changed. So first and foremost, boss kill timers will be reset whenever these changes are made. Reason being, they will only track going forward 7 or less player fights. This will be logged at the very start of the kill to prevent players from logging after the fight starts to bring the player count down at the end of the fight. Also, minions will shout out and have a little text in your chat window, which will help players better indicate the order in which they were killed, because they will shout as they die. So you'll know which pillars in order to attack for the next phase. Moving on, the Icicle Slam attack is also being changed. The Icicle's defense in and of themselves is going to be lowered dramatically, and the health is reduced all the way down to 20k HP, while the bleed is applied a few cycles just after it lands on the player. The bleed damage to the player will be taken from the Icicle's health and is cleared when the Icicle dies. It should be now super easy when this launches to take out the Icicle, a quick wild magic and maybe a basic, and you can help your team out avoid that, as that was the intended way for Mod Ramen when he first made the boss, but as we all know, people just ignore it or tank it, whatever the case may be. Also, movement abilities will no longer be placed on cooldown when you're hit with the Icicle, so players can get right back into the action. A neat addition, Nex will no longer prevent players from attacking her when she's phasing, meaning that continued combat can be done. However, to reflect this change, Nex will have more life points to compensate for that. Whatever that number is has not been set yet or decided on at this point. When a player dies inside the fight, Nex will no longer re-aggro onto a random target, and Nex should no longer re-aggro after any of her mechanics. Something you've been seeing on screen the whole time I've been explaining the other changes throughout this video. Also, the mage chests that you get as a rare drop from Angel of Death will now unlock a banner in the cape slot, much like the ones you see in game on the actual NPCs. A simple typo is fixed. Don't know where that is, but important to note, I guess. Next will no longer hit everyone within melee distance when she hits the base tank with melee. So she'll only target melee with the base tank. Doesn't have an AoE effect like Beastmaster, for example. On the final phase, if Nex is on the other end of the room, bombs wouldn't do damage if they're stood in, and that'll be fixed. And also, the shadow orbs were a mechanic that just got skipped over and had really no effect on the fight. The way they will work, as you're seeing on screen, is they will be hitting the player for less damage, but if you're near the area, 2 squares away at most, you will be taking constant damage from those orbs. The further away, the less damage you take. So you have to be a little bit more strategic about where you stand in regards to these shadow orbs when these changes are made. Now, alongside all these changes, Mod Ramen does want to change her looting mechanics. Basically wants to put it more like a Solak style drop system, where everyone has a role at a rare item, allowing for multiple rare drops per kill. However, drop rates will be changed to reflect this and ultimately still statistically be the same per kill in terms of how much of these items are coming into the game. He also wants to remove the off-tank drop and just reward the 7 players in the room the same, as sometimes the base can out DPS some of the DPS roles. He also says that maybe, just maybe, he'll introduce minion pets, although that's probably the least guaranteed out of everything discussed in this video. So that is it for your changes for next AOD. Again, this is something that I do think, even though it is a GameJam project, will still actually make it into the final build of the game at some point. Do not have an ETA on that, I'm afraid, but when I get more information, it'll be right here on the channel, so stay tuned. That being said, let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed yet and you want to stay up to date on all things RuneScape related, then hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you guys watching. I am out. Peace.